This issue is plotted again by Paul Jenkins, but written by Bo Smith, who has an impressive command of language and gives this one-off protagonist a unique voice. This one is focused by the first-person narration of Romeo Lincoln, a convict on death row at Florida State Penitentiary, and is driven by straightforward events instead of heavy-handed, blanket philosophical statements. Much of Lincoln's tale is told in flashbacks, but these are given linearly and logically as in-scene memories Lincoln has as he awaits to die. I like the organization of events and information as it forces the reader to see things from Lincoln's perspective, much like the first part of the story about the man whose wife's soul was trapped in a cat. I am grateful there is not a second part of this story to ruin that aspect. The opening pages establish a bleak and somber tone, which is to be expected if you have read this series before, and Lincoln's voice, that of a deeply southern, simple, and undereducated man, though not stereotypically so. Soft-spoken, timid, unsure of himself, and generally confused about his lot in life. He knows he is here because he did something wrong, but whatever his crime, we are not yet told, he sees it as an accident and he is incapable of feeling remorse about it. Lincoln speaks of an ominous entity he calls Sparky, and we get several clues as to what it is before artist Dwayne Turner finally reveals it. No one likes having to visit Sparky. It likes being alone. It, quote, only wants the bad ones. Sparky is the electric chair. And when Lincoln sees Spawn peering at him from the darkness, he thinks Spawn is Sparky's true face. Then we finally learn why Lincoln is on death row. A girl in a bathing suit smiled at him. He came over to her, scared her, and we only get inside his head, so we aren't told what he did to frighten her. She screamed, he tried to make her stop, and by the end of the ordeal, he shot both her and her father. If we were not in Lincoln's head, this chain of events would seem unlikely and melodramatic, but getting these events from the culprit's perspective, we are allowed to look into his psychology and thought process. Smith competently gives us information to piece together for ourselves through this primary account instead of spoon-feeding the information. Lincoln comes off as emotionally detached, out of touch, and lacking in empathy. He acts on his feelings without considering or even understanding the consequences. He does not intend to cause harm, but he has no concept of cause and effect. So when his actions have unintended repercussions, he is unable to feel guilt. He wanted the girl to stop screaming, so he stopped her without considering what else that reaction would cause. He felt an odd sixth sense of pleasure in the moment hurting her, probably because he had never touched a girl he found attractive before, and he acted on his urge to continue. The judge was ruthless because Lincoln would not apologize, and that is why Spawn is there too. He wants to see remorse, but Lincoln does not understand why. While I appreciate the voice and characterization of Lincoln, this is where the narrative loses me. Why does no one consider that Lincoln may have a severe chemical imbalance, a behavior disorder that cuts him off from his empathy? Spawn sees everything in his own distorted view of black and white, so I am not so surprised he does not pick up on this. But the police? Lincoln's attorney? The judge? There is no discussion at all of psychiatric treatment. His crime was not premeditated or meticulously planned out. He does not know why he did it or even why he is to be blamed for it. He does not see himself as dangerous until his sudden, unprovoked change at the end when he realizes he is one of the bad ones, though it is unclear if he has developed a sense of remorse. He almost gets the chair, and it is genuinely sad. I cannot help but appreciate that he does not understand his own actions and has no guidance. Then, conveniently, the governor has it called off at the last minute due to recent incidents in which executions caused excruciating, unintended pain before death. And for some reason, now Lincoln agrees he is a bad person. This begins as a decent study of both the complex inner workings of an unhinged mind and a commentary on capital punishment. Lincoln doesn't understand why he has to wait so long to die, and it is a legitimate question from his perspective. If he is so dangerous as to deserve death, why can't he die immediately? but it strikes me as an oversight to include no discussion about mental health in this extreme situation, and it would show more than one side of the issue if a major component to the cause wasn't ignored. Perhaps there is a racism component or something else that motivates the judge to tiptoe around the question of Lincoln's mental health, and it is tricky because, being from his perspective, Lincoln himself may not be savvy enough to pick up on that, so this may be an unavoidable oversight due to point of view. The ending is far too ambiguous, and Spawn's interest in this case is unclear. He spends an awful lot of time lurking in this Florida prison. Has he no one else to terrorize? Does he have the ability to experience time differently from normal people? Strangely, this issue made me feel better about myself. At least I know I am not insane. I still do not have all my memories, but I know I feel empathy. I have no desire to hurt anyone, no matter what they may have done to me, and I will feel eternal sorrow for the most foul murder every fiber in my being says I committed. Lincoln is right. Sorry does not bring back the dead. However, those we hurt deserve our regret, even if they cannot hear us express it. To whomever I hurt in my last life, I am sorry. And no matter why I felt it had to be done, I would gladly experience the supreme agony of Mountain Dew withdrawal again, if it meant remedying whatever situation led to it. Signed, Unknown.